Hey guys, so today we're making chocolate chip cookies. The utensils that we're gonna need are 1 measuring cup, 1 teaspoon, and 2 big bowls, preferably one smaller than the other. And then now moving on to the ingredients, we're gonna need coffee powder, some salt, butter, 2 eggs, of course chocolate chips, baking soda, vanilla essence, maida, powdered white sugar and brown sugar. And the recipe that I'm following had recommended that I use bread flour, but since I don't have any bread flour, I am using wheat flour, which is a pretty good substitute. And of course we're gonna need some baking sheets and a baking tray. We're gonna take a smaller bowl and a shift and a spoon, but I'm using a spatula. We're gonna put our dry ingredients, which is 1 cup of normal wheat flour. Make sure you shift this so that there's space for more and that it doesn't overcrowd. Now we're gonna take 3/4 cup of maida. Since I'm using only 1 cup, I had taken half first and then now I'm taking 1/4. I'm gonna take 2 teaspoons of salt. The reason why we're shifting this is to make sure that there are no lumps when you mix the flour with the wet ingredients. And after 2 teaspoons of salt, we're gonna take 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now we're gonna set our bowl aside. Now we'll take a bigger bowl and start mixing in our wet ingredients. Now we're gonna take 1 cup of brown sugar. Now we're gonna take half a cup of white sugar. The reason that I have taken light brown sugar and not dark brown sugar is because dark brown sugar makes your cookies way too sweet and we don't want that for our cookies. Now we're gonna take 1 teaspoon of coffee powder, 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence. Take 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter. For taking soft butter, even though majority of the videos say to take melted butter, because from personal experience, taking melted butter just makes it very greasy and does not bring it to a texture that you want. So make sure to take room temperature butter. Now we're gonna whip all of this together. At this point, you want your mixture to look like this. Even though you need it to be a little more creamy, I would suggest to leave it right there for now, because after adding the eggs it will become too creamy if you don't leave it like that. Add our 2 eggs. Now that we have added our 2 eggs, we're gonna whip this entire thing again. Now that we've gotten our mixture to a creamy consistency, we can add our flour to it, but we just have to make sure that we add it in 1/3. Give your mixture a good stir before adding it. Add it in 1/3. And then take your hand blender and even if it's not entirely incorporated, because when you're mixing in your chocolate chips, then it will get entirely incorporated from the sides. Just make sure that the middle part is incorporated. Now that we've incorporated everything, let's add in our chocolate chips. I will be adding a lot of chocolate chips as I'm making this for my sister who loves chocolate chips. But you can add them according to your liking. There's no definite number of chocolate chips that you need to add. Just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Now just incorporate everything together. I'm gonna take a baking tray and line it with the baking sheet, which I've already measured and cut up. Make sure that before you do this process, you preheat your oven at 180 degrees for 5 minutes. While the oven is heating up, you can scoop out your dough and put it into your tray like how I did. Since I didn't have a scoop, I took a utensil that resembles a scoop. And now for the final part, you have to put some chocolate chips to decorate your cookies. This is very optional. In case you do not want it, you don't have to do it. Now that we have our dough ready, we can pop it in the oven. Just make sure that every time that you are putting your dough, there's enough spaces between each of them, because they will flatten out a little when they're in the oven. Now we can pop these in the oven. Cook them at 180 degrees for 20 minutes. 180 for 20 minutes, do not forget. The best way to know when the cookies are done is to take a toothpick and poke it into one of the cookies. You have to make sure that they aren't too soft and aren't too hard either. That's when you know that your cookies are perfect. Now you can scoop them out and eat them. Have fun!